I'm going to start. Okay. Hi, I'm Chrissy.
And I'm Lisa.
And today we're
And
going to
we're
discuss. Go
here at
ahead.
our podcast, Besties Talk Cancer, talking about how the diagnosis of cancer changes best friends' lives and how we persevere and move forward with positivity, patience, positivity, and prayer. And also how we look at cancer from the perspectives of everyone who's dealing with it and learn how to move forward and still maintain normalcy. Go ahead, please.
So I think like the most important thing today is I think that we should say about normalcy and conflicts of normalcy and how to relate with cancer to normalcy. What is your normal week and what's your normal day? Because there is no normalcy. Once you get diagnosed with cancer, everything changes. So to me, you know, my part of it is how do you keep friendships, relationships, being a parent, being a mother-in-law, having a new baby, you know, having a husband, a best friend, having a social life, and having cancer. And you have to live day by day. Every single moment is day by day. And I think that that's the most important thing. I come with it is that I live my life by moment by moment.
Yeah.
If I do an appointment, I put insurance on it. If I'm going to do something, I tell them I might not make it. That I'm good until I'm not good. And some people can accept it and some people can't. And then some people try to push and say, oh, well, we need to plan this and we need to plan that and plan this. But you can't really plan that far in advance when you have cancer. And that's something that people don't, that a person that's not going through it or hasn't gone through it doesn't really understand that you can't really say, oh, yes, let's go to the movies on Friday. If I'm good, yes, let's go to the movies on Friday. Steph?
Right.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And so my husband got diagnosed first, and I don't think I understood that at first because I would say I would try to suggest things that would make him feel better, and say, couldn't we just go out to dinner? And he would say, I just can't, I just can't. And then when I got diagnosed, I really understood what he was talking about. It's just that, you know, the chemotherapy for most people drains you of energy. And just like even taking a shower and getting dressed, I remember having to take a shower and then lay down and then get dressed and then lay down, because you just have no energy. But as far as normalcy, I tried to work. I was lucky. My employer let me, I mean, they put me down to half-time. Um, and they let me come in when I felt good. But going to work gave me a sense of normalcy. Like when I was at work, that was the only time I didn't think about having cancer. So for me, it was like really important if I could to get to work and do things. So
No, I agree 100%. I work every day. And
yeah.
it's really a big part of it. And when I can't work, then my assistant picks up. But I'm very lucky that I have an assistant that can pick up and I can work when I want to work. Most people don't have that easeability to do that, or the flexibility of somebody saying, your boss saying, no, you have to be here, which I don't have to be anywhere. I could be in my pajamas and work all day. And then if I need a nap, I take a nap.
Yeah.
Well, from my perspective, when you first were diagnosed, I had just become sort of in line to be for the new position that I have as a manager of a team. I remember I was on my way upstate to go see you for that Rod Stewart concert right after you found out you had cancer. I don't know if you remember this, but I was on the phone with my office because there was a problem as always. And Dan, who was my manager at the time, had said he was leaving. So I was sort of the interim manager, and now I'm the full-time manager. And, I don't have cancer, but you have cancer. And my life changed as well. And that's part of what I want to discuss in this thing, because, when you're the friend or the family or the loved one, your life changes too. Your emotions change. Maybe you need time to process. Maybe you need time just to be and think and absorb everything that you've heard. But I had none of that. I had to just keep going, 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 and I had to keep working, and I had to keep, and it's not easy. And as one of the things I think we've touched on in the book is that there is no official role for best friends in the cancer scenario. There's a role for parents, there's a role for husbands, wives, kids, and there's, all sorts of options and resources and books and places to go to talk about it. But for the best friend, there's nothing like that. So that's part of what this book is going to be about, how the best friend can handle this and still go on having normalcy, a normal life, and working, and and doing all the things you said, Chrissy. And of course, obviously your your journey is much more difficult because you're dealing with it. But the people in your life are also dealing with it, and and that's part of why we wanted to talk about this,
No, I agree, because I am more about the positive way. I don't want to hear the negativity. I don't want to know the emotion part of it because it keeps me positive. I'm the PPP. I'm the patient's positivity and prayer. I don't want to know that there's sadness behind my cancer because I don't want to be that victim. And I don't know about you, Stephanie, but I don't want to be a victim. I don't want people saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Every time you talk to somebody, "I'm sorry."
Mm.
Or somebody says, um, you know, they don't understand, or they can't get it, and they can't put their mind around it. You're still
Yeah.
trying to wrap it around your own head. I mean, no
Right.
matter, it's 2 years in, I still got cancer and I'm still doing chemo, and now I'm
Yeah.
changing chemo, and it's still going
Yeah.
on. So the empathy of it, you don't want to hear it. And it's sad because you want to be able to share that with your best friend. You know,
Thank you.
you
Thank you.
do want to share it, but you can't share it because you can't bring yourself down and have that. It's like a poison. You can't have that part of the poison come into your life.
Right. But by you doing that, because in the beginning I was like crying, and you said that first day, you said you have one day that you can cry. Today's your day, remember? And I
Yes.
cried. I was allowed to have my day. And I have cried on my own. Deb
And
and
spurts of weakness.
yeah, but Deb and Stephanie have diagnosis, and Sue have all heard the other side of how I've been feeling. And thank you to you guys for being my support network through all of this, and in my own way, because you can reach out to people who understand. That way I didn't have to bring it to you, some of the sadness or scared and fear that I was feeling. But that being said, your positivity has rubbed off on me in the sense that now I feel like, how you say normalcy, I feel like there was never anything but normalcy. We still argue, we still
Yes,
fight. We're
which
just
is a
like
wonderful thing.
there's none of that awkwardness with the two of us. Like, you say some people don't know what to say to you or how to act. You're still you, cancer or not. You're still my best friend, and we're still going to have the same dynamic we always had. And I'm grateful
We
for that.
have that, but a lot of
Yes.
people don't have that. And it's very hard
Right.
for some people. It's very hard for some people to even ask, or like, what they want to ask. They're looking at you, dying to know what's going on, trying to figure it out. Where are you at? But they can't ask. They just can't put themselves to asking because it's
Right.
too hard to ask. The hard truths are, the whole thing of it is so hard. It's a hard journey. We're on
Yeah.
a
Yes.
journey.
Yeah.
Steph, you on the journey. Everybody in this gamut of us right now, we're all on a journey.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
where our journey takes us, Stephanie has grown from it because she's been through the journey. She went down the road. She's hit the cobblestones and hit the mountains and hills. Am I wrong, Steph?
No, no, you're not wrong at all. I will say that I felt like I had to put on a positive face for other people.
Mm.
Like I didn't want to upset other people. And so when I was at work, or when I was, except with the exception of a few really close people that I trusted, when I was at work, I used to do meetings. Because what part of what I did was it was a nonprofit. I used to have lunch with people and ask them for money. I still did that,
And how
and
was
they,
that for you? How was that while you were going through it? How was that experience?
it was good for me. It was good because, like I said, it took my mind off of everything. But, people. I tried to be like just my normal self in front of people. And sometimes they would ask me questions or say things or and sometimes it was really helpful and sometimes it wasn't. But
Right. Everybody's got an opinion, right?
yeah, yeah. But I think when I was home with my husband, I would cry. I would get angry. I remember not long after my surgery, I had radical hysterectomy. I was so angry one day. I wasn't supposed to be doing a lot of activity, but I put on my shoes and I walked down the road because I was pissed off.
Really? Right.
And Dave's going, "Where are you going? Where are you going?" I just got to get out. I just felt so claustrophobic, and I came back,
Well,
but
that's
Well, that was good that you came back. That was
yeah,
nice.
but yeah, I mean, it's a roller coaster ride. Or at least it was for me. It was a roller coaster ride. That, I had really great positive days, and then there were days when I couldn't get out of bed and I was watching Dave suffer. So
Mm.
that was part of it too. And so it's like now thinking back about it, it's like really hard to wrap my mind around the fact that it even happened like that.
Right,
Really?
right.
Yeah. Do you
Because it's
think that,
so hard. I'm sorry,
do you
Lisa.
think, I don't mean to interrupt you, Chrissy, but do you think that's because now that you're past it, Stephanie, there's a part of you, that survival part of you that wants to just put it behind you and not and close that door now? I mean, is that
Um, I think it's just it was I mean we were both kind of young. I mean and it just seemed like how could that happen? I never
right?
feel like I'm past it. I want to clarify. I forget
Okay.
about it for long periods of time. But I never feel like I'm past it because if I start not feeling good or I'm having twinges and they last for more than a day or
Mhm.
every time I go to get screened, which now I'm lucky it's once a year, I start having anxiety a few days before. So it's never like totally past it,
Mhm.
but because it's always there in the back of your mind. But luckily, months at a time, I can just not think about it, forget about it, and not live in that past.
Right.
Which is good. I mean, listen, I can't wait
Yeah.
till that day comes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, Chrissy, you
Definitely.
do a great job of living in, like you always tell me, it's all about the moments, living in right now in this moment.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to
And
talk
I
about?
believe that, like, I mean, we had, and it was my daughter's birthday last week, and I had chemo on Monday, and then Tuesday we were going to take her out because I had chemo on her birthday. But what I did, what we did, they gave me so many steroids, I was pumped up on Tuesday, so I'm always pumped the day after chemo. And I said, well, we can go out because I'm fine the day after, knowing the days of where I'm fine, but it's always finding that sweet spot with the chemo. But there's some days that are just, the more you get, like they tell me, the chemo is accumulative.
Yeah.
So yes, today you'll feel good this week because I'm only on one chemo this week, but you know what? Next week I'm on two. So guess what? You don't know what you're going to feel the following week or the following. You don't know what is going to hit you the following, what the side effects are. And I always tell people when it comes to chemo, it's whatever's in your body comes out of you. So like we've had people that have, gotten very, very ill from chemo. They had diabetes, their diabetes took control of them, and somebody had a heart problem that took control of them. If you have bad teeth, your teeth fall out. Whatever is bad in your body when you're having chemo, the worst of you comes out. I mean, I had to go to a specialist for skin. I mean, now it's cleared, but knock on wood, but my whole body was scaled because I have psoriasis. And it's whatever is the worst of what's in your body. So when you're saying, let's, figure out what we're doing this week, everything I have is either insurance or I tell people, don't get mad at me. Because, some people don't understand that you're going to cancel and they just can't understand, weddings. I'm talking everything from weddings to showers to everything is based on how I feel or what's going on for that week. So,
Yeah.
it is, when you say, yes, work is great, but I could take a nap. I'm
Mhm.
home.
Right.
But when you're out in the real world, you know, you have other, limitations that you can do or have. Can't just take a nap if you're at a party.
Yeah.
You're at dinner, you get tired, you don't want to be that. So I do living for the moment. So I feel like I go out a lot. When I'm good, I'm good. When I'm bad, I'm bad. And I live the moment. But, certain things I wanted to do, I had to cancel. I had to cancel many trips this year. But you know what? I do what I can do and
Well,
just be happy for what I can do.
but like, for example, that Mick Jagger concert, I want to talk about that for a second because like, so how do you, because you were disappointed about that, right?
Well, because I had VIP tickets to go backstage to see Mick Jagger. How many times is Mick Jagger going to play anymore? I don't think that many. I mean, it wasn't like,
If you remember, you dragged me in the pouring rain to Shea Stadium to see him when we were kids in the back row in the soaking pouring rain. If you
I
remember that,
love Mick Jagger.
I hate
Yes.
Mick Jagger, but you really wanted to go with Phil. And so, how do you, my question is to you, how do you manage to get positive again and find that positivity again after such something that really was disappointing? Like that was,
Well, you
how
know
do you,
what? Life is disappointing and you can't harp on anything. That's what I keep saying, by the moment. You can't be upset for anything. Everything is things. You know what? People say, "Why are you so happy? Why are you waking?" Because I woke up. I woke up today. I'm happy because I woke up. I'm happy because I have two beautiful kids. I have my daughter-in-law. I have my friend Sue on, your friend Sue. I have you, my bestie. We have Deb and Stephanie on. I mean, I am happy for every moment that I get that God is willing to give me. And,
uh,
if He is willing to give me these moments, like just this is a moment, just to be with people. If 1 million people come on this, great. I don't care. You know what? To talk about it with beautiful people like everybody here is wonderful to me because, see, now you get your tears up. To not be moderating, all right? Hello. But
sorry.
that's what it's about. What is life about? By the moment and living the moment. We all have conflicts. We all have sad days. I was telling somebody when the doctor told me about the last CAT scan, I said, listen, bad things happen to good people. And she says, wow. And I said, it's all good, doc. It's all good. I said, because this new stuff that you're giving me is going to be the one, and I have to believe that I'm good,
Yeah.
and I feel good. I'm as good as, like I always tell people, I'm the healthiest, sickest person,
Yeah,
because
you
everyone's
always
like,
say
oh my God, you don't look like a kid. Oh my God, because I didn't lose weight, I didn't lose
you
one
look better
pound,
than me. You always look better than me, even through I was
and I'm
years.
happy about it.
So I just want to say I didn't lose weight during chemo either. It was like the one benefit I thought I might get. And
Yeah, I
I
thought I was
gained
gonna lose weight.
I gained 15 pounds
Oh my God, I haven't
during
gained
chemo.
pounds. They weigh me they say, do you sleep like a baby? Do you eat like a pig? Do did you lose weight? No, no, no. Only thing I do is keep getting shorter. I'm like the shortest person in the world. 5 feet tall. I cannot get any shorter. I'm gonna be a midget. But I mean,
You're so
besides
tiny
that,
now.
I am a tiny person. I'll be in somebody's pocket.
Pocket pal. You'll be my pocket pal.
Pocket, that's what Phil calls me, pocket wife. But it's funny. It's just that
But you
no,
know
you
what you
have to
don't
live the moment.
is that even in the middle of all of this, there's so much beauty. Because like because of everything, don't we've talked about this. We see so much more beauty in every day and the things that we do get to do, or you get to do with Phil and the kids or anybody. There is so much more precious because we had time to do them. Like when we went to Maine and we stood on top of that mountaintop at sunrise,
Arcadia, yes,
that was beautiful.
it was beautiful. What are conflicts that we have that come up though? There are conflicts. It's all great and it's all beautiful, but there are conflicts.
Okay, you go
Yeah.
first.
Well, like you don't like to know that there's no plan. Just like you want to go and you want to plan. You want to plan everything. I want to do this. I want to do that. Hold on, I gotta let the little person in. But there is no plans. And you get so angry and you get mad and and it becomes that it's persecuting you, but it's not
Not
persecuting you.
know what it
There
is? It's
is
like
no plan.
it's not that. It's like, you look at it from your perspective, you can't make a plan. But for me, all these years, our plans mean a lot, right? And of course, I understand why we can't have plans, but it's hard that you can't just go back to the way things were. And sometimes you miss that. You miss being able to say, hey, let's go see a play this weekend. I really want to see you. I miss you. And that's something everybody in your life, I'm sure, is feeling, because
Yeah, because you have to say no all the time. And
Yeah.
the conflict is always saying, no, I can't. No, I cannot make that plan. Or if it's like $200 or it's something that's expensive, you can't say I'm going to spend it because there's no insurance on a play. There's
Right.
no insurance on,
Right.
there's no insurance on certain things.
Right.
And
Think
you
about
have
that.
to say, no, I cannot do it. No, and the no's, even, listen, my husband is part of a club and he wants to go to dinner here and he wants to do this and he wants to do that and he wants to see this person, he wants to see that person. And I'm like, well, I can't do this week. I could do this week. I can't do it. No, it's not gonna happen because I cannot make that plan and I don't want to make that plan and then cancel. Because I think it's more devastating for the other person that I'm making the plan with to always cancel.
Well, you never
To
have
say yes,
right.
but to
When you
say
make a
yes.
plan, you never cancel. Never.
No, I
All
never
your life.
canceled, but no, that's who I am. But because I respect the person I'm making the plan with. And it's hard to have that conflict, conflicts come up, like, listen, I have meetings that are for work. And Stephanie said, she went to work and she worked for a non-for-profit. Sometimes I can't make those meetings, like I wanted to, I thought I could, but then they changed my chemo. So everything changed. You know what I'm saying? Everything that was yesterday is different today. So now you have to write a whole long letter explaining yourself, which you don't want to do in business.
Oh, you tell them that?
You have to tell them why it's a mandatory office in, everybody's got to be in the office, but chemo start, you can't do it. You can't be in the office. You can't, if you're having chemo at the same time the meeting is, you're not going to be at the meeting.
Right.
Or you're sick. Or if, I don't know what chemo you on, but I've been on 4 different types. And the newest one, I don't know the side effects yet because they didn't give me both at the same time. But the last one was so horrific that they gave it every 3 weeks. I was sick for 3 weeks. It was like, oh, I thought I was good. Then I was sick again. Then I thought I was good. And then I was sick again. So you don't know. So it's not, and it's not the cancer. Like I tell people, it's not the cancer, it's the chemo.
That's right. That's right. And like you were
You don't
saying,
feel,
it's
you don't
cumulative.
feel cancer. You don't feel cancer in your body. Do you feel cancer in your body? I don't feel cancer in my body.
Yeah. And because it's cumulative, the longer you're on it, for me at least, the more side effects, the more tired I was, the more difficult it was. And I was on Taxotere, I believe it was Taxotere.
No, I was on HER2 last time. The last one that was really bad was in HER2.
Yeah.
And I told it to hurt me, not them.
But Stephanie, did you feel like that in your own life when you were going through it, that you had to, you lost your ability to make plans to do things like Chrissy's saying? Did you go through that?
It was a little bit different because Dave was sick too. So, but I had to recover from major surgery, radical hysterectomy.
Very hard.
Yeah, so I had to recover from that. And then I'd only had one chemo treatment when I had a recurrence, an inoperable recurrence. And I ended up going to the hospital. I was in excruciating pain, and Dave was so sick, he could barely take me to the hospital. And they did all the tests and they said, yeah, there's another tumor there. And I thought, okay, this is a tipping point. I thought I was going to die at that point. I really did. And, but my doctor was on vacation, so I didn't get to talk to her. I got to talk to some other doctor who didn't explain it correctly to me. And what she explained to me when she got back is the type of chemo you're on works really well on this type of cancer. And within 4 weeks, they couldn't find the tumor anymore.
Wow. Wow. That's great stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like, I didn't even tell, when I ended up in the hospital with the new tumor, I didn't tell my mother, I didn't tell my kids, because I thought I was going to die, and I just couldn't have that conversation with them. I just
Yeah.
couldn't. And Dave kept asking me, are you going to call your mother? Are you going to call your mother? And I can't call my mother. I can't call her and tell her this. And then, of course, she was mad at me for not calling her.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's deep. Yeah. I mean, yeah, how do you say that to your kids, right? I don't even,
Oh,
my daughter's on the phone right now. She's here too. I mean,
yeah.
how could you even say that to your kid? I mean, that's hard.
My son kept trying to call me during all that time. My son, who's in South Carolina, and I wouldn't pick up the calls. I wouldn't pick up the calls, so he called my husband. And so
Yeah,
then I had to talk. Then I talked to him and I explained it to him. And it was the first time. And this is the thing that broke my heart, I think, the most. I heard his voice crack when I was talking to him, and I was like, oh, because he was very positive. He's always very positive. Mom, you're going to get through this. You're going to get through this. And when I heard his voice crack like that, it just broke my heart. It just broke my heart. It was hard. Yeah.
that's hard. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
hard. Yeah, to deal with it, you're right. Sometimes it is the other people, not us, but
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
others in the room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a different thought process that I didn't have. See, this is why it's so great, this thing. I mean, it really is great,
Hearing things that you
because
wouldn't have thought, and I'm hearing, we're all hearing each other's unique perspectives, right? And so I didn't always tell you everything I was feeling because you told me we had to be positive. And like I said in something I wrote this week, I had to put myself in the place where you needed me to be your friend. And if you needed me to be positive, that's who I was going to be for you and for me too, but also because as best friends, that's what you do. If your best friend tells you, I'm going through this awful, not awful, but this very challenging thing, and I need you to be X, Y, and Z, you're going to be that thing. But then on the other, there's still me inside, right? And you know me, right? I am me. You can't change me. You can't alter my DNA. I am this person. So there's certain times you've been telling me things and I'm standing there crying and you don't know it. And I'm like bawling in the supermarket. For some reason, anything you've ever told me that had major significance in our lives happens in the damn supermarket. That first time in the tomato aisle, and to this day, I hate that tomato aisle because I'm like, is Christy going to say something when I'm in here again? You know, but but but
that's
I'm
funny.
making a joke. I'm not really funny, I know, but I'm trying. But
No,
I'm
that
trying
was
to.
kind of funny. That was kind of funny, Lisa.
It's a little bit funny. Yeah.
I give you kudos to that one. That was funny.
But my point is, like, yeah, there's all these other people in your life. You have an orbit of people who love you, and Stephanie, you too, right? So, and when you're going through it, from what I've learned from you guys, is that how your focus has to be on you, right, and on fighting this and on getting better. And so I would imagine it's hard to always consider everyone else in your orbit, how they're feeling and everything else, right?
Yeah.
And to me, you have to shelter yourself and think
Right.
about you getting better. You taking this journey and being the PPP, the patient's positivity and prayer, and actually truly living it, praying, you know what I'm saying? Being positive, being patient. And you have to be a little, I mean, I hate to say it, but you're selfish. Because you know what? You have to survive this for everyone around you, but yourself. You want to
Mhm.
live. So you have to put yourself first. And you never put, I mean, listen, I'm the person that puts everybody else in front of me. I'm the
Mhm.
last person online. I really put everyone first. But in this specific situation, I have to put me first because I have to survive this to be who I am, to live.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what? You had to survive it to make yourself and your husband live. You had to survive it and go through this journey and be a little, yes, be a little selfish, not calling your mother, not calling your son, not calling, because guess what? You had to stay positive and fight this wretched bastard of a cancer, and get through it whatever way you had to. And I tell people, you do what you have to do when you
Yeah.
have to do it.
Yeah. I used to try to when I would get the most upset would be when I'd start spinning out and thinking about, well, what happens after the treatment, and I'd start like going sort of down a rabbit hole, and I'd have to say, okay, to stay in the moment. And it's like you said, 1 moment at a time. I would say 1 minute at a time, 1 second at a
Yes.
time, if I
Yes,
have to.
yes.
If that's what keeps me moving forward and, just stay there and not spin out and think about the future, you know? So,
I agree. I think that, what I'm saying? I think that is the whole key of this whole thing, you know what I'm saying? To
And
transform your fears from negativity to positivity. And
right.
how did you do that, Lisa? How do you take your fears? How do you take somebody that is fearful? Like, Stephanie and I are fighters because we're fighting the damn disease. But as a person that's with somebody that loves them, because this could be helpful to Danielle and to other people on this, people are dealing with it. How do you fight your fears to stay positive
In
and
the
to,
beginning, it was really hard, I'll be honest, in the first few months, and writing this book has been very good because it's almost like a living journal, like a living day-to-day document of how this journey has gone for me. Like in the beginning, it was really hard because I would be very positive with you, but I've told you this, really struggling, trying to find a place where I could talk to someone because I had all this inside of me that I couldn't share. And so then I learned that there were, if I couldn't talk to you because not that I couldn't talk to you, I can always really talk to you. You know when I'm crying, even when I say I'm
yes.
not, But there are times I've been able to talk to my wonderful writers group, my other people in my life. And you told me I had to find other friends to go out with, remember? But you said that even before you got sick. You said I needed to find other things to do on Long Island where I live, so I'm not so isolated and alone. So going out, I would go out, like, say, to a movie or something with the book club, and I would put it out of my head for a little while. I would put it in a box. I would literally say, all these feelings for Chrissy, I'm going to put them in a box today in my mind and close it. And later on, when I'm home alone, I could open it again. Same thing with work. I had to take the feelings and put them in a box.
yeah.
Because otherwise they overwhelm you and you can't do anything. And there were plenty of days I stayed home on the couch in my sweatpants and didn't move. One time I came to writing class, remember, and I was on the couch, literally lying flat on my back. I showed up, but remember, I couldn't get off the
Yeah.
couch.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I
But
think
sorry.
not, I'm sorry. I think when my husband got sick, before I got sick, what I learned was not to take anything personally, not to take anything he said personally, because he would get angry. He was so sick he couldn't be present, or he couldn't be, I mean, I've never seen anybody so sick in my life as he was when he was going through treatment. It was colon cancer and he had radiation and chemo. And I just learned that, I mean, one time he said to me, he was in bed very sick, and I went in and I tried to like talk to him. He said, "Don't talk, don't talk, don't touch me." He said, "Just don't." And I said, "Okay, okay, I'll leave the room." But he just couldn't, he was in so much pain. It was all he could do just to be in that moment. And anything, any outside kind of stimulus, he just couldn't deal with. Yeah.
Yeah, no, me too. I mean, like, honestly, when I'm on chemo, I'm literally in a room for 2 days.
Yeah.
I literally stay in my bedroom for 2 days. Like one day I don't even eat. I just physically, depending on the chemo, but I'm physically, literally in a room in a ball. And I tell my husband, I don't, he wants to give me everything in the world. And Lisa wants to talk and everybody wants to, but I can't even lift a phone. I can't even lift my head. I'm
Right.
literally just in a ball going through it. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I want to say
Just-
one thing before I don't mean to interrupt you, but this is really important for everybody else too. One thing I've just come to now in this whole journey is that what's really important for the other people in your life is focusing a little bit on their own self-care. Because for a
Yes.
long time, my whole focus has been thinking about, I'm sorry, but I've been thinking about you. I told you nonstop for 2 years, and you were, well, you're my focus. And now when I went out the other day, I went out on my kayak for a little while just by myself because I realized sometimes I just sit in this house for days. You know what I mean? And just, I can't. You have to be healthy. For me to be the best friend to you, I can be the best supportive friend, to be the positive friend you need. I have to take care of me a little bit too. I have to cook healthy
Yep.
food. I have to get out in the world and do things. I have to,
Yes.
it's like
Yes.
a plant. I can't, like a plant, I can't survive without water. So I have to water myself a little bit
And
so
you
I can be.
need people, and you need people besides me. I'm sorry, but in life, you need people besides me. There are other beautiful people we have on this Zoom today that all care about us that are here. You can't just have me. I can't be your focus. And that's, I know that's hard to hear, but it's a fact that I can't be your end all of all because, you don't know what tomorrow brings. We don't know what today brings, and we have to live for today. And we got to be happy and we got to be excited that, I look great, I feel great, but
Yeah, but you know what, you
have
say,
me.
you can say that all you want, but your heart feels the way it feels. So you can talk all you want, but you're always going to be my best friend, and I'm always
I
going to
can
feel this.
always be your friend. It's not taken away from your best friend, but you need other people in your life. You need your book
Well, I
club.
did what you
You
told
do.
me to do. I did it.
I'm just saying, and you need other people in your life. It's good to have other people in your life. It's good to have your writing group. It's good to have, it's great to have other people in your life. And it's not for the bad days, it could be for the good days. Doesn't have to be for all the days of tears. It could be for the days of happy things that you're going to share with them, and just saying this to you, that you need other people in your life. And that's very important. And I'm putting it out there because
You're
it's,
doing this in the
it's,
middle of a Zoom, and you know how I react when you say this.
but I think it's an important thing that, again, the fear, it comes back to transforming the fear forward. How do you
Okay.
transform that fear forward? And you're working very hard on it, and I'm very proud of you as you're my bestie. I'm very proud of you. But it's an important factor, you know, that you have to have other people in your life
Well,
to
I've done what you
share the
told me to
good
do.
and bad things.
And I'm blessed to have met my beautiful writing group who has lifted me up on the darkest of days and made that wonderful experience at her spirit happen, which was changed my life in every way that's good. That changed me in so many ways. And I can
Yes, I
never
know.
thank you enough for that.
Can I
And
say we're blessed to have you.
Oh, I love
I
you,
mean,
Stephanie.
no, I truly mean it. I mean, everyone in the writers group, but I feel like, for me, this is a group of sisters. It
Mhm.
truly
That's great.
is.
That's great. That is so
It
good.
truly is. And it's kind of
Lovely.
like a little miracle because Chrissy, and Deb knows, we just got thrown together, just
I
We
kind of
know.
did
randomly, just
randomly. Yeah.
randomly. And wow,
Yeah.
I mean, it has been just, I mean, I just feel so close. I mean, we text all the time and tell each other what's going on in our lives,
Oh,
and
that's see
we
that
get
see that's good
support.
stuff. That's
Every
important
day.
stuff.
Every day.
Yeah,
Funny
yeah,
stuff, bad
That's
stuff,
good stuff.
yeah.
So yes.
But that's good stuff. But that's the stuff you need. That's the stuff you have to, you know what I'm saying? And we all need our best friends. We all need our besties. Lisa is my bestie, and I wouldn't have done this with doing it without her. Doing everything, being who I am is Lisa's part of it. She's known me since I'm 14. I am who I am. She's who she is. That's what makes us best friends because we're so opposite. You
We are who
know,
we are we are who we are because of each other.
that's right.
Someone
Yeah.
told us last year at a party,
That's
remember at
that,
that party?
that's right. We are who we are because of each other. Yes.
And
Yes,
someone
that's
once told us
beautiful.
at that party last year that we raised each other. We did. We raised each other as kids to adults, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yes, yes. It is a
And
beautiful thing. And this is
And
beautiful.
it's such an honor to hear your beautiful story, the two of you. I mean, it really is. And I just, I'm really glad that I got a chance to go on a Zoom with you, Chrissy, because I mean, I've felt it through Lisa's writing, but I want to say the friendship you have is really something special, and I'm glad that you're going to share it with the world because I think people are really going to be moved
Well,
by
and that's
this.
what it is. I think there's a need
Yeah.
for it. I think there's and we have to find the platform of what the need is, of where the people are. Because just like you're speaking, there's other people that are going through this,
Yeah.
like I'm going through it, with a friend of mine, her daughter's 33 years old, what I'm saying? And she's got throat cancer,
Mm.
and 33 years old. I mean, it's insane,
Yeah.
and it's too new for her, but there's so many people I know that are just so upset and don't know how, not even to relate. Like some people don't need to talk. Some people need to listen and just want to hear it and discuss it and just want to hear. And, cancer affects everybody.
does.
And
Mhm.
somebody knows somebody that has been affected by it. And
And I
unfortunately,
just say that should be a very important theme of this whole conversation, because it's not just you and me, it's not just me and you and your kids and your husband. And in fact, everyone in your life is somehow touched by cancer when it
it
enters.
is, people are touched. When you find out you have cancer, you've touched a whole slew of people. And, like I have my village, we have all our villages, and you guys are
Chrissy
affected who
calls it
I've
her
just
village.
met. What?
Chrissy
What
calls it
happened?
her village, all her people, her villagers.
You
She always
know,
compares her people that love her to her villagers, and she's got all the villagers who want to know how she is, all her friends from
we
church.
have different villagers. We have different people in the village, you know. We all have different villagers in our lives. And there, that could be a whole conversation by itself of all the different people, because there
Good.
are so many different kinds of villagers. That's a whole conversation in itself. You got the Debbie Downers, the Moon, the Moaners and Groaners, you know. Yeah.
Wrote about that. What did you
You
call them?
know,
Wait, what
oh,
was the word you had for them? I wrote it
oh,
in somewhere,
the
but
gloom and doomers. They
what was
gloom
the
and
first
doom.
sentence?
Yes. You say cancer, you're dead. You're just dead. They look at you and you're dead. They look, you say, oh, oh. So how long are you gonna live? I'm
Idiots.
still here, and I keep telling them I'm still here yesterday. It's 2 years and going. So, but there's just so many different opinions on this. And I think that what we're touching on and us doing this, and I can't even thank everybody that's here today just to be part of this.
Yeah,
So we
thank you
could
for
be
being part of our
ready,
discussion.
because we're going to be ready when we figure out who do we need to contact, how do we contact, because there's a whole slew of people that need to be contacted. I put on Facebook, Lisa put on Facebook, but it's, a lot of people don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to be
Right.
part of it. They want
Right.
it to be forgotten. It's like, I
Maybe
don't
they're
want to say
scared.
it's, they're scared because it's such reality, and a lot of people don't want to hear about the reality of it all. It's a
Yeah.
very frightening thing, to smile death in the face. You know what I'm saying? It's very scary for people, and to say, oh, well, you don't know what's going to happen. No, you don't know what's going to happen. No, but you
But you
could
know
die
what?
tomorrow. You could die
No,
tomorrow. You could
one
cross
thing
the
I've
street.
learned from this is we could all die tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
We all could be done, and listen, I'm married to a 9/11 survivor. He survived.
Mm.
I mean, honestly, he could have been one of the guys. He was there. They picked them all up and they brought them all down there. So if it's your time, it's your time. I don't think that, we don't know what the clock is for God. We don't know what his ticker time is. Like, when is your time? We don't know. But how this is so important to people, I think, is going to be big, because I think that people need to hear, and that's okay. It's okay to talk about it, and
And
Yeah.
to be honest about all the things that aren't like that, we do still argue, or that we get irritated with each other, or there
oh
are
yeah,
days.
and I could yell at you and hang up on you, and you hate it, but
Yeah, but we do that all the time. Like I get so angry, sometimes, but but we've always gotten angry. So that's the point of this. There is
that's why
normalcy.
we're friends for this many years. Guess what? You
Yeah.
cannot be friends or be with somebody for so many years and say you never had a fight.
Oh my
You
God.
can't do it with your husband, your kids, your friends, your anybody. You can't say you're with any human being, or if you're that close twined, you have to have a fight, or you have to get so mad at them you want to choke them like a chicken. I'm sorry. There's got to be something said about it,
Yeah.
It really is. And if you say you don't, you're lying. Then you're not happy, and you're living a false life, You really are.
Yeah.
So that's why our friendship is real. Our friendship is so real. It's the
Yeah.
realism of it that we
That's the
are,
thing.
that the book's about the realism of being besties, and the realism of going through something that's so important and
Yeah.
so much different emotion. Having the
Yeah.
different emotions make it, because that's
See
who
that?
we are.
Oh, because we're so different. That's part of it. Yeah, because Chrissy represents one whole type of person, and I represent the exact opposite. And somehow, like the odd couple, Felix and Oscar, is that their names? We found each other and we make it work. Like, it's not easy to make it work. At certain days, we like,
You have to
hell,
work at it.
we have to work at it. Yes, that's a kind way to put it. But yet we do. And it's like, it's worth it. And yes, we are able to transform the negative. Even, yeah, it's not been great these 2 years. It's been a lot of hard days, but we've had a lot of beautiful days, you
Yes.
know? And that's life, right? There's the beauty in losing,
Absolutely. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I think this is good for today's session, Lisa. I think we got it down.
Okay.
A lot
Well,
of emotion. I mean, Stephanie, I can't even
I
thank
want
you
to ask
enough
if
for
anybody else who's
everything.
here wants to say anything, because we really didn't open it up to questions or comments from the
Um,
rest of the people.
Sue, Colleen, Danielle, number 79, Evelina.
Deb, anybody?
Yeah, I would just say how much I appreciate this conversation and, the fact that there are such differing opinions, that you are, in some ways so opposite of each other, and yet you meet in the middle and you do make it work. I had a sister who passed away back a few years ago of cancer. She had a very, very aggressive form of cancer. And she had had difficulty in life before the cancer, just in finding joy. And she was never, it was so, so difficult for her.
Really?
Really, really difficult. So to hear about the positivity in an honest way and to hear about the sadness in an honest way, I just think it's so healthy because I always felt with her, she said to me at one point, she said, some people will say that there are gifts in cancer or that they have found something good in cancer. And she said, I can't say that. It's really, yeah. And it was heartbreaking because she just wasn't ever able to find the positivity, the potential.
Say, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Someone asked me after I was done with cancer a couple of years, what did you learn from cancer? And I said, nothing. What did
Yeah,
I learn? Nothing. There
yeah,
was no reason for me to have cancer. I could, whatever I needed to learn, I could have learned it another way.
Right.
You
mhm.
know, I mean, and that's just me. And that's how I differ maybe from other people. Yeah.
Well, but I think that's why this conversation is so good because everybody does approach it in their own way.
Yeah.
And there's no right or wrong,
There is
there's
no
just,
right. There is no right or
yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Thing is, like,
Everybody really, yeah, everybody
which,
is trying to do the best they can
Deb, did
every
your
day.
sister
Yeah.
talk to you though during the time? Did she have conversations with you about it?
A little bit, yeah, yeah, but she was always a very private person even before the cancer. So I think it was just really hard for her. But I think of,
And that's the thing,
that's
when
what
you're
I'm
very
thinking.
private, and I think when you're
Yeah,
private, you have the cancer and you're holding in
Yeah.
all that sadness, all
yeah.
that anxiety, all that fear, all the stuff that we're talking about. Because
Mhm.
somebody I know is very private that I know that's going through it, and they're so private. And it's so hard for them because of their privacy.
Yeah,
Like they'll talk to me because I'm going through it, but they just don't understand it. And they're so
yeah.
mad at it. And they're so angry. The anger takes over them. You know what I'm saying? It takes over sometimes.
I think that's really true. And that's why I think this is so important and so healthy and will be so healing for so many people, who maybe are feeling more private, who feel that they can't talk about it or don't know who to talk to about it. For them
Right.
to be
And
able to
just
come and
hear
hear
it.
it, yeah. And just to know that wherever you are is okay.
Right.
Everybody will handle it differently, but it is also okay to acknowledge it, to talk about it, to see it differently, to respect, however each person is approaching it. I just think that's so important. And you are demonstrating that, not
Yeah.
just giving people permission to do that, but we get to see it live between the two of you, that you're both approaching it from very different places, but there's love in all of it. They're,
Well, which is
you
important. You have to
feel,
have love. You know what?
yeah,
That's the healing factor, that I have so many people that love me and that I'm loved. I mean, I don't know about you, Stephanie, but for me, I am so loved by Lisa, You know what I'm saying? I am. And I
Yeah.
know she loves more than anybody in the world. She
Yeah,
loves me. My
I do.
bestie loves me. We know my bestie loves me.
Wait, do you remember when we went to, I'm not going to tell the whole story, but when we went to that museum with all the beautiful art, and that woman asked us, what do you like about Lisa? Because I said, you're smart and you're funny. And you, what do you like about Lisa? She loves me so much. He says, I like her because she loves me so much. Remember?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? At the museum with the Keith
Yes,
Haring
yes.
thing. It's just so funny. But it's the truth. I do. I love you so much. I do.
Yes,
And you
yes,
love me so
yes.
much.
I
Even with
do,
all
but you show your love a little more. Just a little bit more.
I just want to
Just
say,
a little bit more.
well, yeah, but I can't help it. So, but like with my mother, my mom died of cancer when I was 29, and we never had any of these conversations. She got sick. She was very involved with her boyfriend, who she lived with, and time after time when she was in the hospital, she didn't want me to come up. She would want him to come up because there could only be one visitor. And I'd go to her apartment, and we would. I didn't even know this is part of it. I didn't know the questions to ask. I was too young, and I didn't know how to voice what I was feeling. And so I shut myself completely down into a place of complete denial. And I remember the hospice woman came, and then my mom passed away. And the hospice woman called me and said, I really think you need to find someone to talk to because you're totally in denial that this has happened. And she was right. And because we had never had any of those conversations, and I didn't ever talk about my mother. Well, I talked to you a little bit about it, but not really. I didn't really go into what I need. We had no closure. We had no healing conversations. I never told my mother how much I loved her. She never said that to me. And so there's grace and beauty in this because, like, yeah, we learned enough. We love each other enough that we can have these conversations. And anybody who comes to these Zooms or whatever can have them if they just open up their hearts and take that leap, you know? Sorry, that was a lot.
No, it's absolutely true. It's absolutely
Mhm.
true. And I appreciate it, you guys let me talk because I have a little different perspective. And I appreciate that you let me share that. Thank you.
I
No,
hope
but
that
we
you come
appreciate
back.
your perspective is so appreciative because it's different than ours.
You guys are
But
all
you
a
know
part
what,
of our
Stephanie?
group.
It's a journey, and now you're part of that journey, Stephanie. I'm sorry, but you've been hooked in.
You and Deb are
Steph
now
and
there,
Steph
and I
are
think
like hooked in.
I
I'm
think Mary Jo
sorry,
will
but
come back
you're
next time
hooked in,
too.
Steph, because you have a different perspective, and you too, Deb, because you have a different perspective of it, which
Right.
is, which is great.
Quite
I don't know if
simply,
anybody else wants to say anything, Danielle or number
I would love
79.
to know if you wanted to say anything. Colleen.
No, I just think this is a great space for you guys to talk. And for me, it's a little different listening because I only get to see the big, brave side of my mom. So, kind of being able to see the vulnerability of her kind of just makes it more, I don't know, like it puts it more into perspective for me because similar to how you guys were talking before, when Lisa, you spoke to my mom on the phone, you had to put that brave voice on. And then you would hang up and then you break down because you want to be that positive person. You want to show that support. And sometimes, some days are easier than others, but it definitely has been a challenging, but also oddly enough, like I think about my dad, and this kind of put my dad in out of his comfort zone. And similar to how you joined like a different club, it pushed my dad to join different clubs because my mom's like, you're not just going to sit here and stare at me being sick. Like, you need to be out. You need to get out. You need to meet people and not my people. You need to meet your people. So it's like, I kind of watched my dad grow into this like social butterfly. And it's like, I hate to say that it's because of this, but it almost like pushed both of my parents out of their comfort zones. So it pushed my mom to be like, Phil, like gain your own voice, like don't take my voice. And then it also took my dad kind of like, okay, it's okay for me to smile. It's okay for me to be happy, even though I should be sad. So it's been definitely a crazy couple of years, but you oddly do see like the beauty within this, which is such a weird way to think about it, if that makes sense.
Total
No, that's
sense.
what it is.
Yeah.
That makes total sense. And
Danielle, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Sorry.
that is beautiful, Dan, because that's something that, what we need to say, you know what I'm saying? Because it is hard. You being my daughter, it's hard. and I have to put that face on because again, Steph will tell you, you know what I'm saying? You're my baby. So it's hard, and Colleen's here, she's my, my son's wife, and it's hard, you know what I'm saying? And she has a baby, so we have a new baby, you know what I mean? So it's hard, it is hard, and I say that because, you don't want my daughter to feel any sadness. You don't want to see your kid feel sadness, especially when you don't, in my case, we don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's like this whole cancer thing, and that's where patience comes in, is it's like you have no idea. Like you thought you were gonna die, you thought you had a tumor, and you don't know what's going on. You really
And the
can't
tumor
say,
was gone. Remember that
hey,
tumor
no, you
disappeared.
don't know.
Right.
They don't tell you, there's no diagnosis of, okay, you've got this. No, they don't know. Doctors or scientists, they don't know. They're learning on you. I hate to say it. They're giving you different medicines to see what works, because they're testing on you. You're their guinea pig. It is what it is, but that's what it is. And they try to keep different things so that it does go away. It's a numbers game, cancer. Unfortunately, it's a numbers game. They
Yeah.
want to keep as many people alive as they can. Especially the bigger hospitals, because that's where they become number one. That's why Sloan is number two in the country, because there's less deaths. That's how they diagnose it, by how many people have died from that hospital. It's very weird how they do all that, but that's the way it
Yeah.
goes.
I do have
And
one thing
let's-
to add. Sorry.
Oh, yay.
This is Colleen.
Colleen. Hi.
Hi. Yeah, so the one thing I just wanted to mention too, that in listening to Stephanie, your story, Chrissy, Lisa, that I think a huge like stress, pardon my social worky language, but I was gonna say protective factor, but like a real strength is like the it's not your whole life, right? That you're finding other things, like you're working, you're doing everything that you can when you have the energy to. That I think it's like it's this that strength in people, that like that really willingness to live, that I think, Stephanie, as you shared, you were kind of like, didn't really teach me anything, right? But it's not, but it sounds like for you that there was like so much more in your life. You had your husband to worry about, you had all these other things that were keeping you going. And I think that's the power of positivity. But the thing, kind of what Daniela's saying, I think it's also finding the pockets of people who we can actually talk about it with, because in order to be strong, we do still need to be vulnerable. And it's like a matter of finding, where is that place? Who are those safe people? You don't want the person who's going through it to be that, you don't want to like burden them. So it's like finding the people who you can have for your support. So, yeah, so it's been really cool to like hear what everyone has to say. But I think that it's that strength, and that finding, not letting it like, you're not giving up, you're doing other things. So that was my takeaway.
Well, I think that was beautiful, Colleen, because that was a big takeaway. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we want to achieve, that we want to achieve, that we can
Yeah.
do that.
And what you
Exactly what we
said,
achieve.
Colleen, is so true, because like my writing group, Stephanie and Deb and Mary Jo, on Mondays, it started out just as a writing group to write our book, right?
Yeah.
They are my writing group, and but they are the ones when I can't hold it back anymore and I have to cry, or I have to just say how I'm feeling. They sit with me in silence and grace and just let me be, and they just love me.
It's a safe place. It's a safe
It's a
place.
safe place, and wrapped up in that feeling of community there. It's, and you find your people that you can talk to, because I'm not going to unload that all to you. Just like you told me that you was talking to other cancer groups of people who had cancer, and you never told me that before. And I'm like, I didn't know that. And well, because you needed to find someone to talk to that wasn't me or Phil or the kids. You needed people that are going through it, right?
Yes, yes, yes. Well, it's not cancer. I do have the kids. It's just other sections, but it's not like a whole group of like villagers. You know what I'm saying? They're just like, you go into a Zoom, like a major
That's what I'm
generic
saying.
thing.
Yeah, but you found that, right? So I didn't even
I
know
mean,
that.
because you want to hear what other people want to say. I think it's very important for me to hear what other people that are going through or have had gone through it think. I like to know what other people are thinking. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody thinks a different way. my way is not one way. My way's one way. Your way's one way. Stephanie's way is one way. Danielle's way, Colleen's way, Sue's way. I-79 Zaba's one way. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's got a way.
Like, oh, Saba. Every time you say her name, you call her I-79. You know who she is.
That's what she goes on.
It's okay. Forever 79, I guess.
I get you are. You're I-79.
I'm just glad you're
You
here, Saba,
know,
whatever. So,
I said I didn't learn anything, but I will say this. The thing that I learned was not to be afraid. Because once you get that cancer diagnosis, and once you get past that, or, you know, even if you don't, it's like, okay, what do I want to do in life? And you know, nothing's going to be as bad as cancer. So, you
Let's
know,
do it. Yeah.
let's do it. I had to speak in public all the time, and I was always deathly scared to do it. And I would just, I used to have to go on TV. Before I go, it's not cancer. And then I would calm completely down. I'd be like, oh yeah, it's not cancer. It's just talking to somebody, you know?
Just
Wow.
talking. Right. Yeah,
That's powerful.
That's very powerful. That's very powerful, Stephanie.
Let me ask you, Stephanie, is that part of what compelled you to start writing the book about your mom?
Yes. Yes.
Let me just say to everyone here, Stephanie's book is amazing. She is the most gifted writer. She's writing about her mom's story, and it's truly one of the most beautiful. And I'm not just saying this. It's truly one of the most beautiful.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So,
You help keep me going because
well,
I'm
you have a gift, and you
definitely
need to
help
keep
keep me
it.
going.
And you're going to
Right.
help so many women in your
I
mom's
hope
name.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope to get to read it. Or I hope it goes on audio. I'm sorry.
You won't
I don't
even read
know.
our book. You're not even gonna-
I said, oh, did you hear what I just said? What did I just say?
I hope it goes on
Stephanie.
audio.
On audio.
I did not. I said I would love to read it, but then I didn't. Then I corrected myself and said I hope it goes on audio. Did I not say that, Stephanie?
You did. You did.
Okay.
Our book has
Thank you.
about 80, what did I say? 86,000, 90,000 words now. And has Chrissy read one page of it? No.
I can give her my speechified. Don't worry, Mom. I got
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Dan.
Okay.
Thank you.
That
All right.
means-
I gotta go. Guys.
All right. So we're going to try to, let me just have one. Do we want to have one last positive thought before we go? Anyone?
Yes. We live one day at a time and make it the best day we can.
Okay. I love you. And I hope that we all can join us again next time, probably in 2 weeks. Hopefully we'll see how the new chemo goes. Right. That's what we learned. We don't know, but we hope 2 or 3 weeks from now we'll meet again. Right.
Look at
Yes,
us
couple
learning
weeks in.
lessons. Look at this.
I know this is worth the whole Zoom in itself.
This was growth.
It is growth.
I honestly
you.
think this was a great session.
I love you, Sue.
No, this
I
was
love-
really great. I mean, this is to open up this space. Thank you so much. And
No, we thank
Yeah.
you.
We thank you. Please
Yeah.
come back, Stephanie, because your
I
voice is-
will. I will.
Okay.
Because you have a different side of it, and it's very important to be heard, Stephanie. I mean, it really
Thank
is.
you.
It is.
And you
It's so
got it so beautifully and so eloquently, and it's so important. Your story needs to be told, right? So I'm so glad you're here. And at some point, I think, right, we're going to start inviting guest speakers to come too.
yes,
Uh,
yes.
Oh, that'd be
I
great.
You know who I already invited? I don't know if you know Dina Blizzard and Missy Hall, but they're friends, and Missy had cancer and she's a comedian. And I didn't hear back from them yet. But you know who else is best friends? Oh, what is her name? There's a famous actress. And now, because I'm old and I had to have COVID so many times, but there's a famous actress who, she was in The Notebook. What's her name?
Yeah, I can't think of her name either. I know who you're talking about.
The star of The Notebook. Danielle.
Danielle, start a notebook.
Rachel McAdams?
That's it.
Yes. She just did a podcast with her best friend who's not famous, but they've been friends since they were little kids, 3 or 4, who had cancer. And it was all about their friendship. So I'm going to write to them and see if they'll come on and be guests on our podcast.
Okay,
I'll
that'd
see.
be cool. All right,
Yeah.
good. All right,
Okay.
love you. Talk to you, Lisa. I'll talk to you in about
Love you
half hour.
guys.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.